This is an abbreviated edition of KOAM News at 6. We will be getting back to CBS coverage in a bit. Authorities cleared the U.S. Capitol after a group of protesters stormed the building as lawmakers met to count electoral votes in the presidential election. At least one police officer has been injured and one person was reportedly shot. Authorities say some protesters had gotten into both the House and Senate chambers, as well as the office of House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. In response to the protests, Washington, D.C.'s mayor declared a citywide curfew that started at 6 p.m. Eastern, about an hour ago. Senator Roy Blunt of Missouri tweeted that the violence at the Capitol today is shameful and voiced his appreciation to Capitol Police. Senator Jim Inhofe from Oklahoma echoed the senator from Missouri, thanking law enforcement and calling for an end to the violence. Missouri Senator Josh Hawley's press office issued a tweet that also called for an end to the violence and praised law enforcement. In a statement sent to KOAM News, U.S. Congressman Jake LaTurner from Kansas said, quote, "The lawless behavior at the U.S. Capitol is reprehensible and has no place in our country. This is a stain on American history, and I condemn it in the strongest possible terms," end quote. Close to 1,000 supporters of President Trump gathered today outside the Oklahoma Capitol. Protesters held Trump 20 flags and signs that read, "Stop the Steal," and a handful carried long guns, which is legal in Oklahoma. The Oklahoma legislature was not in session, and much of the crowd dispersed after a light rain began to fall. About 200 people rallied at the Kansas State House today to show their support for overturning President-elect Joe Biden's victory. They chanted, "Stop the Steal, 4 more years, and no more masks." Hundreds of protesters gathered for a Stop the Steal rally at the Missouri Capitol in Jefferson City. Some said they feel disenfranchised. The CBS affiliate there, KRCG, says some protesters drove more than 2 hours to be at that rally. We're going to check in now with Doug Hetty for a first look at the weather. Doug.
All right, thanks, Dow. We've been dealing with the on and off showers throughout the daytime hours today. A cold rain as well. Most of us only upper 30s to lower 40s. It's been a little bit more persistent on the Missouri side and the Arkansas side, and then a little bit more scattered in Kansas and Oklahoma. But where you do see the yellows, the oranges, that is pockets of moderate rain. And we're going to continue to see this kind of on and off throughout the overnight hours tonight. In fact, southwestern Missouri, where you see a little bit of blue, a little bit of pink in Berry County, that is some snow, which is trying to mix in. Most of us stay rain tonight, but after midnight, we'll start to see a little bit of a rain-snow mix, especially in southwestern Missouri, but our temperatures stay in the mid-30s. So I don't think this is going to be a huge deal, but something we want to watch. Right now, we're sitting mid to upper 30s to near 40 in our western counties. Now, throughout the evening hours, we slowly drop back through the 30s, and eventually we'll get down to about 34 degrees later on tonight. We're going to look at this entire system and what's to come here in a bit.
All right, see you soon. Thanks, Doug. More southeast Kansas counties are getting coronavirus vaccines. You might remember last week we reported that 100 doses of Moderna vaccine were in Crawford County when they were designated for Labette and Cherokee counties. Well, now the vaccines are where they need to be. KOAM's Zach Dodge has what happens now.
Labette County Sheriff Darren Eisinger says now the vaccines are at the sheriff's office, it will be a good thing for everyone.
Deputies are out here looking that don't know who has it and has come in contact with people. I think it'll help both sides.
Staff at the sheriff's office have started getting their first doses of Moderna's coronavirus vaccine. So far, 16 people, around half of the department's staff, have taken the first dose. Many of them are jail staff, something that Eisinger says he pushed for, since in the last month the jail's been dealing with a surge in COVID cases. Overall, they've seen 41 positives, and the jail can't currently take any new inmates.
I think that will help on our side as far as people being off work for 10 days. Keeping our numbers up with our jail staff.
Cherokee County has also received their allocation of vaccines, with staff here at the sheriff's office getting access later this week.
65 residents who are in the healthcare profession, either a medical provider, pharmacist, ambulance, emergency medical personnel. So those have been administered as of this point.
At the end of December, the vaccines for both counties were stuck in Crawford County. At that point, Groves told us they were supposed to be sent directly to CHC SEK in Baxter Springs, but the state had them sent to the health department in Pittsburgh instead. So both counties had to submit paperwork to the state to get them where they needed to go.
I don't remember what day we did the interview, but it was within a couple, maybe the next day, possibly the day after that. So it was relatively quick.
He explains that doses will continue to go through Crawford County, but no matter how they come, both sheriffs are glad to see a light at the end of the tunnel.
The sooner we can get to that next phase of mitigating some of that hardship, the better.
In Labette and Cherokee County, Zach Dodge, KOAM News.
State of Kansas is still in the first phase of their distribution plan. Officials expect vaccines to be available to the general public in the spring, with availability becoming widespread in the summer. The Oklahoma Department of Health will begin notifying some Oklahomans tomorrow that they are eligible for appointments to get COVID vaccines. Oklahomans who are healthcare workers, first responders, or over the age of 65 will be eligible for appointments starting tomorrow. The state health department says those people should check their email first thing tomorrow morning, as that'll be the first opportunity to schedule their vaccine appointment. And we'll be right back. For many of us, kicking off a new year is a chance to sort through old stuff and get organized. It can be easy to forget that by doing so, we have the potential to do a lot more than simply eliminate clutter. KOAM's Jesse Irwin reminds us how.
I look at the new year as kind of hitting the reset button, refresh, restart, pivot, about face, and let's try to improve upon ourselves.
She's right. It is a new year. It's also cold, there's a global pandemic, and you've got way more free time than you usually do.
And as a professional organizer, we look at this as an opportunity to just reset intention in your home, and doing that by really evaluating what you have in each space. And is it serving you?
Kristen says asking yourself 3 basic questions can help you decide what to hold on to. Does it bring you joy? Do you use it? And is it valuable or irreplaceable?
If you don't like it and you're not going to use it, then let's talk about ways that we can get rid of that item that makes us feel good.
Here's an option. Donate it to Second Chances, a resale shop benefiting the Lafayette House. As an organization geared toward victims of domestic violence, sexual assault, and substance abuse, it's an important time of year for them. And donations make the difference.
This is absolutely a wonderful opportunity for our organization. A lot of times we have donations and we can't keep everything on site at Lafayette House.
As you can see, clothing's a big part of their inventory, but it's not the only thing that helps.
Whether it's DVDs or even just simple little pictures, plates, cups, silverware, those type of things are really a useful something that our clients can use in their new homes.
And sure, while another new purse might not be what someone starting a new life is reaching for, it might catch the eye of another four-stater. Second Chances is open to the community, and its sales go entirely toward its mission.
So perhaps let's say if you spend the outfit behind you is $19 outfit, and that actually will provide over 10 meals for men, women, and children in shelter.
Oftentimes when people know that they are going to be able to donate something and it is going to be used or needed or wanted by somebody else, oftentimes that allows us to let go of it easier.
Helping to start someone's new beginning in your new year off on the right foot.
It was Jesse Irwin reporting. You can find a link for Second Chances on our morning show page on our website. That's KOAMnewsnow.com. Doug Hetty is up next with his complete forecast.
Well, it's definitely been kind of a dreary day for us today. We've had cloudy skies, on and off showers throughout the day, even some pockets of moderate and some heavy amounts of rain. And guess what? The rain's not going anywhere for us tonight. In fact, it's going to mix with or even change over to a little bit of snow late tonight into tomorrow. And then we're going to really stay cold over the next several days. Of course, you can always get my long-range forecast. That's on my month-long blog, That's at KOAMnewsnow.com. All right, most of us sitting into the mid to upper 30s on the Missouri side. Then once you get into Oklahoma and also southeastern Kansas, just a hair warmer, right around 40, 41 degrees. But outside the station, sitting at 39, northerly winds are light, 5 to 10. Of course, our humidity is way up there. We'll slowly drop back through the evening hours, eventually down into the mid 30s. So at least we're not going to get down to freezing. So we don't really have to worry about any issues on roadways, but we are going to get some snow mixing in a little bit later on tonight. You can see the showers, which have been working through during most of the daytime hours. Of course, we're looking at a radar loop over the past couple hours. Now, where you see the yellows, you see a little bit of orange, those are the pockets of moderate and even heavy amounts of rain. Now, it's a little more scattered on the Kansas and the Oklahoma side, but really solidifies, especially from the Metro South, Neosho, Pineville, all the way down into northwestern Arkansas. Now, where you see the pink and the blue, that's snow across Berry County and also Lawrence County, and that's going to slowly try to overtake the region as we go through the overnight hours as the slow-moving system. You can see the little spin between Oklahoma City and Wichita. As that system slowly rotates over the area, we'll get a little bit colder air throughout the night. So let's go through time. Here's 9 p.m., much of the same as what we're having now. As we move to about 11 p.m. in southwestern Missouri, you can see a little bit more pink trying to pop up, and that's going to be snow, which is going to be mixing in. I think on the Kansas and the Oklahoma side, you mainly stay rain, but southwestern Missouri, even northwestern Arkansas, you could switch all over to snow, and if we can get just even a degree colder, we could see even some moderate snow late tonight into tomorrow morning. Again, the temperatures at the surface are going to stay above freezing, so I don't expect any issues on the roadways. As we go through the daytime hours tomorrow, especially by the afternoon, any rainfall that we do have or mixed with snow will start to taper off. But it stays cold tomorrow, 36 by noon, high temp right around 38. A little bit of clearing for us tomorrow night, and then still a lot of clouds sticking around on Friday, and temperatures kind of cool as we stay into the upper 30s. All right, rainfall, additional rainfall on top of what we've already had. A lot of areas are going to pick up another quarter of an inch, maybe even a little bit more. And then if we look at the snowfall, again, I think it's mainly southwestern Missouri, and we could get some light accumulations on the grassy surfaces and the trees, dusting upwards to an inch. The better chances to get an inch of snow is going to be in our far eastern counties. Rain snow mix tomorrow morning, tapering in the afternoon. We dry out, but stay pretty cold Friday and Saturday. We could get a few flurries on Sunday, but finally 50s return by about the middle of next week.
50s will be welcome by the middle of next week, I'm sure.
We'll definitely take them.
Thanks, Doug. We'll be right back. Parents are calling it a scare tactic. Armed officers showing up with school counselors at students' homes to talk about grades. And as Jasmine Peyote reports, a number of parents in the St. Louis area say it needs to stop.
It was unimaginable. I can't even really describe how I felt in the moment.
With all the challenges of virtual learning, Portia Alton never imagined this. An officer showing up to her door to speak to her child.
I was shaking. My voice was cracking. I was emotional because I did not understand. I couldn't keep my eyes off of his firearm.
Portia's 15-year-old daughter is a student at Rittner High School. She says it was around 8:30 Monday morning when the school resource officer, along with the counselor, landed on her doorstep without making any prior attempts to communicate.
He questioned my daughter about the work that she was supposed to turn in. She answered him. He also asked her if she understood what he was saying to her. At that point, I said, "This conversation is over."
For Christine Thorpe, her knock at the door came Tuesday.
The implications of the police showing up at your house is like, you've done something wrong.
Perception aside, Christine says we're also in a pandemic, and it seemed a bit much for a failing grade in ceramics.
Basically, it's a scare tactic. It's something you do for someone who you're serving a warrant on, not for a child who might need a tutor for a ceramics art class.
The presence of an officer is triggering. We've gotten that feedback now. So now the responsibility is on us in that specific situation to act differently.
Dr. Kilbride says they've done about 1,500 of these house calls since August.
It's about positive visits as well. It's about resources, but it's also about, where there's opportunity for improvement.
He says the officers are from the St. Anne Police Department and are a part of the wellness team.
As a parent, I don't ever want my child to associate her education with a police officer. I don't want my child to associate receiving a grade that needs to be improved with a gun.
Ouden has teamed up with the St. Louis County NAACP to put a stop to those house visits. A final check on the weather is next. Take time now to honor a local veteran, Private First Class Danny Michael. The Joplin native served in the U.S. Army, and we are proud to salute Private First Class Danny Michael. He's tonight's four-state hero. A quick recap of what's been happening today in our nation's capital and tonight. We have some live images for you from D.C. Protesters stormed the U.S. Capitol building itself today as lawmakers debated the electoral votes for president. One person, a woman, was shot and killed inside that building. Lawmakers said they plan to continue with the vote tonight. There's supposed to be a curfew in effect right now, but as you see, there are still plenty of people on the streets. CBS News will have more coverage on this tonight, and of course, we'll have the latest on KOAM News tonight at 10. All right, let's check back now with Doug Hetty for our latest on the weather.
All right, Dow, we're going to continue to have on and off showers throughout the overnight hours for us tonight. And as we head into the late morning or the late overnight hours into the early morning, we are going to start to see a rain-snow mix, especially in southwestern parts of Missouri. And we could even get some minor accumulations. Rain-snow mix through the morning hours, and then it'll start to taper during the afternoon, but staying pretty cold over the next several days.
Thanks, Doug, and thank you for joining us. Again, stay tuned to CBS for any developments as warranted on what's going on in D.C. We will see you right back here at 10. In the meantime, let's take care of ourselves and each other.
If you see news happening, tell us about it.